Let's work on Ghosts Have the Real Spirit on our Pumpkins and Potions quilt. Let's work on Real Spirit on page 17. This is our largest block, and both the background fabric and the applique fabric have been backed with fusible interfacing, and then I have the batting. Let's get started on Real Spirit. To bring in the files for the Real Spirit block, I can go to the Merge Stitch File icon, and then I could find where I keep my files. However, if you're bringing more than one design in, then you would have to go back to this Merge Stitch File icon each time and navigate to where the file is. An easier way is just to open the folder that contains all of your files. So I will go to the quilting bundle, and the Real Spirit block uses Halloween 8, block by block, and I need the 8 by 8. I will drag and drop it into the hoop. Now I can go back to the embroidery files folder and find the Real Spirit block and drag and drop it into the hoop. Because I am working in software, I am going to make the changes to the background quilting that I've been doing through the whole quilt. Again, these steps are totally optional, and you can run all 5 steps of the background quilting. The steps are the placement for the batting, the tack down of the batting, the placement for the fabric, the tack down of the fabric, and then the quilting. I cut my batting to the exact size, and so this second step, which is the tack down of the batting, is a step that I don't need because my batting is cut exactly to this size, and this step will not really do much good. Step 3 is the placement for the background fabric. It is only 1/4 of an inch past the batting line, and our fabric is cut much larger, and so this is a step that I do not need. I will select step 2, hold my shift key down, select step 3, and hit delete on my keyboard. Now I am ready to go to File, Save Stitch File As, and name my design. I will save it to the Combined Files folder, and then I will save it to my USB and take to my machine. So I just got done finishing the jack-o'-lantern block, and the next block I need to do is called Real Spirit, and I'm also using my 9x14, but instead of moving stabilizer up out of the hoop like I normally do, I am going to see if I have enough room on the part that's left as it is now. So I am going to say, okay, finished embroidering. I'm not going to delete that because I need to know where this block ends so that I don't accidentally overlap, just in case my block is too big to add to this space, then that'll be easy to know. So I'm going to select OK, and then I'm going to hit return. My block is still here, and I'm going to come down to add. I'm going to go to my USB, to my Combined Files folder, and I'm going to find the Real Spirit and hit set. Now you can see right now it overlaps. So before I hit embroidery, I am going to take this and I can move it down. Now, if I were to hit embroidery, it's going to group these two, and they were overlapping, and so I wouldn't be able to separate this. But you can see I've moved it all the way down to the bottom of the hoop, and I have enough space, so I'm going to go ahead and it just saves me from having to put stabilizer in and get the most use out of that. So now what I need to do though is I don't want to stitch this one again, which if I hit embroidery, it's going to think it needs to stitch this one and then this one. So I am going to select the top and then hit delete. It will say, do you want to delete the current selection, which is this, and that's yes, so I hit OK. So now I don't want to move this because I know that it's not overlapping the block that is still in my hoop. Do you have to do this? Of course not, but I just figured that I had all of this space left over, and so why move this up when I have enough space to do my super large block? And now I need to select embroidery. Now I did overlap this fabric with the block above, but remember we had enough space. This will be about where the trim line is, so I'm fine. And then I decided that in the directions it has to do black quilting, and you can't really see that there's even quilting. So I am going to try my metallic purple. I don't know, how much you'll be able to see either, but I just thought another touch of purple and a metallic. So I thought I would try it. So I'm going to get the background quilting done. I also have my metallic thread on a thread stand to the right of my machine. I always put metallic thread on a thread stand, and then I am going to slow my machine down. I don't think you really have to. I've done metallic thread at the regular speed I normally embroider at, but I am going to go ahead and lower it. So while I was stitching, even on low speed with my metallic thread, I did get an error to check and rethread the upper. So I went ahead and cut the thread and rethreaded. So I will go to this minus plus needle, and I am going to go back, I think maybe 10 stitches, because when you cut thread in the middle of a design, it doesn't do a locking stitch, of course, at the end or at the beginning. It will just continue, and I want to kind of go over several stitches from the thread that I had to cut that's on the background quilting. I hope that makes sense. So I am going to just do the minus 10. I might be able to just do 5, but I think I'm going to go back 10. I'll just hit that once. It will move back 10 stitches, and then I can start and finish. And that is one reason why I like to slow my speed down. You can kind of see that even though I have my thread on a thread stand, how wavy and curly metallic thread can get. And so a thread stand helps get any kinks out, but I still had a problem even on my lowest speed. So that's why I kind of like to do that. So I'm going to finish this background quilting. I've taken the basting stitches out, and I am going to cut the stabilizer right next to the batting so that we will not have stabilizer in the seam when I sew this block to the next block. I wanted to show a few of the things that I have on my table when I cut or iron. I have a bowl that a plastic bowl that I got at the dollar store, and I just fill it up whenever I trim fabric. And then from my local quilt store, I got this cute little, it's called a mini because they have a larger version, Stash and Store, and it's kind of just a rubberized where you can just pull things in and out, stick them. I have my little seam gauge. I keep my point turner and a chopstick. I have a cute little pen that somebody made me with my name on it. Cute. I have my seam ripper, my little jump stitch scissors, some tweezers, and I just have this sitting. So all my smaller things that I use when I'm cutting my blocks or trimming them, they come in handy. I just have that sitting right off to the side. This block will be the 8.5 by 8.5 square. I will flip it over so that I can get the 1/4 inch seam allowance lined up. And when you cut the stabilizer away, it's easy to tell where the seam allowance is, and you just line it up the best you can so that there's equal amounts around the perimeter of the block.